Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast, and in this episode I'm going to be recapping Neighbours episode 9284, which was originally released on the 28th of July 2025, but I am recording this episode a few weeks later on the 14th of August 2025. But before I get with my recap, here is the teaser for Holly and Andrew, The Affair.
It feels like we're at the beginning of our relationship again. We've come back to each other.
You've really looked out for me.
Everything's going to be okay.
I only really feel safe when I'm with you. I want you, and I know that you want me to. Can't stop thinking about that kiss.
This can't happen. We agreed. There can't be anything more between us. My feelings for you, they're real. It's just they're wrong. I've got a wife. I'm married. And you've got Max.
I know that you get jealous when you see me with Max. I mean, I'm the same when I see you with Wendy.
She hasn't said anything to you about me?
I really don't think it's about you. You guys are solid.
Pretty sure I saw Holly and Andrew at Lassiter's on tap, and they were kissing.
But Holly has that X factor. There is something about her, right?
Yeah, I can't stop.
I saw you. Are you going to tell me the truth?
That was the teaser for Holly and Andrew, The Affair. And as I mentioned in a previous Neighbours episode, that kind of some of the events haven't happened, and because of I'm behind Neighbours episodes wise, yeah, basically it's all to come, and it's been huge. But without further ado, here is my recap of Neighbours episode 9284, and as with every single Neighbours episode, we start off with a previous recap, which includes Tay reassuring Sadie, Cara learns why Remy doesn't remember her, Therese and Krista discuss Paul and his thoughts on their bronze bow ideas, Therese mentions having a revenue issue, Krista suggests Therese talking to Paul about this, Carl reads a message Therese receives, Andrew mentions Holly, Wendy convinces Andrew to check on Holly, Holly finds Andrew checking on her from behind some bushes, and Holly raises her voice. Andrew will now start off with the episode properly, and as always that starts off with the Neighbours title sequence. Holly believes Andrew cares about her but won't admit it to her or himself. Andrew believes he's just a concerned friend. As we know with that trailer, that's not the case. Holly doesn't agree with this. Andrew believes he and Holly are just friends. Again, with the trailer, that's not true. Holly wants everything between her and Andrew to go back to the way it was. Krista doesn't understand something. Therese mentions Paul. Paul and Annalise return. Paul introduces Therese and Krista to Annalise. Annalise mentions Gabby and Lucy. Krista knows that Annalise is the assistant manager at Lassiter's Manchester. Paul informs Krista that he wants Annalise to help them win the bronze bell. Krista doesn't seem thrilled with this. Paul and Krista have a private conversation. Paul informs Krista how he was able to convince Annalise to help him and Krista. Paul mentions Lucy. Paul believes Annalise is a 1990s version of Krista. Sadie reveals Byron hasn't told her he's leaving yet. Tay believes he's one of the reasons why Byron is leaving. Tay mentions Byron and Remy. Sadie and Tay discuss Remy. Leo thanks Sadie for looking after Abby. Sadie compliments Abby. Leo reminds Tay that he and Krista are only a call away if he needs anything. Tay thanks Leo for saying this. Sadie plans on cheering up Tay tomorrow. Annalise informs Paul, Therese and Krista how she became a part of Lassiter's Manchester. Annalise mentions her ex-boyfriend. Paul mentions the bronze bell. Annalise reveals her ideas. Annalise mentions her sister Jo. Andrew and Holly reunite. Holly mentions Wendy. Andrew mentions hiding places. Andrew apologises to Holly. Wendy gets her and Andrew some drinks. Andrew mentions Remy. Annalise explores the Lasters complex. Aaron introduces herself to Annalise. Annalise mentions Erinsborough and the Waterhole. Annalise wants to have a meeting with Aaron and the rest of the Waterhole team. Aaron agrees to this. Andrew and Wendy go on a walk. Andrew and Wendy discuss Sadie. Wendy mentions Tay. Wendy thanks Andrew for checking in about the storeroom incident. Andrew apologises to Wendy. Wendy accepts Andrew's apology. Wendy mentions Jane and Saskia. Holly sees Andrew and Wendy together. Wendy mentions Glenys. Paul and Therese discuss Krista and Annalise. Paul mentions Lucy. Therese mentions Andrew and Tash. Paul attempts to reassure Therese. Therese continues to keep Irene's revenue problem from Paul. Paul and Therese kiss. Therese calls Rhett. Sadie and Tay reunite. Sadie mentions Weetabix. Tay mentions consent and the dice he bought Sadie for her birthday. Sadie can't find the dice Tay bought her. Tay believes Sadie is joking. Sadie corrects Tay on this. Sadie believes Abby has her dice. Paul and Annalise discuss Jim. Paul attempts to reassure Annalise. Annalise mentions and compliments Helen. Annalise leaves to host a meeting at the Waterhole. Paul attempts to reassure Krista. Krista believes how Paul is currently making her feel isn't okay. Paul compliments Annalise. Aaron updates Annalise. Aaron mentions Holly and Carl. Holly introduces herself to Annalise. Holly apologises to Aaron. Holly mentions Dr. Bowman. Holly attempts to reassure Aaron. Annalise and Krista discuss Annalise's meeting with the Waterhole staff as well as Katrina. Krista learns how Annalise actually ended up returning to Erinsborough whilst also learning that Paul lied to her. Tay and Sadie search for dice. Leo informs Tay and Sadie they will have to let themselves out as he and Abby are going to Harold. Therese and Leo apologise to Krista on Paul's behalf. Leo gets Abby something to eat. Therese updates Krista on her revenue situation at Irene. Therese and Krista mention Paul. Andrew answers the door to Holly. Holly mentions Sadie. Wendy mentions Glenys. Holly sees Andrew and Wendy kiss. Tay and Sadie find Abby with Sadie's dice. Tay attempts to distract Leo while Sadie attempts to get her dice back. Sadie mentions Isla. Sadie convinces Abby to give her back the dice. Sadie apologises to Tay. Tay corrects Sadie. Annalise watches her 20th anniversary documentary. This documentary features Melanie, Hillary, Jane and Sam. Krista confronts Paul over him lying to her. Krista mentions her and Paul's great idea with Leo. Paul compliments Annalise. Krista insults Annalise in front of her. Krista apologises to Annalise. Paul attempts to convince Krista and Annalise to get along. Annalise and Krista believe they won't be able to do this. We then have the next episode preview, which includes Jane talking about Saskia to Therese. Saskia hugs Susan. Nicolette works out that Byron hasn't told Joan about his departure yet. Paul surprises Therese. Remy believes she can't live with Cara. And just a reminder that new episodes of Neighbours will be released Monday to Thursday at 7 AM UK time until the finale on the 11th of December 2025. And as of time of recording, I don't think I've finished it. No, I haven't. I'm in the middle of writing my recap for the next episode. But that was my recap for Neighbours episode 9284. So let me know what you thought of Neighbours episode 9284 if you watched it. My recap, if you didn't, you can put your thoughts on both of those in the comments below, as well as anything else you want to current chance, such silly previews or recaps. Put those in the comments below as well. Remember, you can also like, comment and subscribe, and just remember there are 2 episodes of the podcast released every single day, with the first episode released at 11 AM GMT, and the second episode released at 3 PM GMT. And without further ado, I will see you in a future episode of the podcast. See you then. Goodbye.